everyone, welcome back to MechaNORN. This is more Gundam, more Ange and all that stuff we did last week. So again, have Jared with me.
What's up?
Not much, man. These three shows, I always look forward to talking about them because they're a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Yeah.
not, Ange, but we were talking about it last time. It may not be going the direction you wanted. So, and this time we're going to change the lineup a little bit, so the timestamps will be a little different. Let's start with Gundam Build Fight episode 5. I know 6 just came out, but we're still on these episodes here. And this
Mm-hmm.
one's called Dream and Challenge in Your Heart, which, again, I always comment on these episode titles being a little weird, but I guess because with
Mm-hmm.
translated.
Yeah, a little cheesy, but
Right.
fitting.
Yep, and this one basically, I guess, follows the humiliating defeat of that, I guess, when they got beat by the swim team last week with Sekai. So now he's still struggling with to learn I guess, adapt his fighting style to different, like we talked about last week. Using it in the water, using it in space, using it on different areas when he gets put in those types of areas. So right now he's training on how to use these different techniques.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gonna be important when we get to these battles. But it's funny to see using Gunpla that he's training in real life to master the art of Gunpla.
Yeah, it was kind of funny, especially like when he's in the pool and he's not supposed to be in the pool, and they're like, "Where he needs to borrow the pool for swimming," according to
Mm-hmm.
his sister. It's really funny. Yeah, that kind of reminded me, even though you always kind of rag on Sword Art Online, it's kind of the same as that. Kirito does the same thing. He does all these stuff in real life, and he's able to do it in the game world. So, but this he's applying it to Gunpla. And it's kind of funny, like you said, it's how that works out.
Yeah.
And then we learn a bit more about Fumio, like why she got interested in Gunpla. And I guess she saw a female fighter back when she was a little kid, and it inspired her to, do a sport that is mostly filled with guys who do most of these battles. So I guess
Yeah.
she saw there's another chick doing it, so it's like, why can't I do that? So I guess she decided to take it up and do it now.
Yep. Lady is her name, and we see her at the end of the episode.
Yeah, she looked very familiar to me. I thought she was a character from season 1 that got older, but I don't think it's anyone from the first season, but it might be. Never know.
Oh, she does have the glasses covering her eyes, so.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. Kind of like a charm moment, and she takes her glasses off. And it's like, oh wow, this girl. Maybe that's what they're trying to do. And while we have all that, she explained why she wants to fight in the battles, and his sister's kind of like watching Sekai, like, are they getting close together? And you can tell definitely she's like supporting that ship real hard. But it is funny seeing that. And I guess while they're talking, they notice the club room's open. I guess at I guess they're on the school grounds without being at school. I guess it's like a off day,
Yeah.
and they're kind of shocked that like who's in the battle, who's practicing, and they find out it's Yuma who's practicing with his new rebuild of his Lightning Gundam. I guess he fought Rao. That was kind of interesting.
Yeah, and he was one of the few to make him drop his shield. It was, it's obviously you can't see anything of the fight, but it's one of those like, oh man, what did Yuma do?
Right, yeah, it's like he's in the clouds and it's like lightning, and the setup was pretty cool. I like that they didn't really show you what he was doing.
Yeah, they
Okay.
they like doing that thing as I've watched episode 6 and they showed like that little room that they're in. You see the blue lights just glowing out of that sort of little building. Like, oh, something amazing's going on here.
Right, yeah, something's going down. It's pretty good. And I guess we get to the very first part of this tournament that I guess they're doing this mini tournament because the qualifying things. And
Hmm.
Fumiya reveals her new Gunpla, the Winning Gundam. That's a fitting name.
Hashtag winning.
Yeah, pretty much for her. It's pretty funny. And I thought it was kind of silly when they're like middle of a fight. He's like, you want to make a kind of side comment. She built that on her own. I'm like, that's probably an easy model to build.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I mean, nothing is Fumiya's building skills, but I'm like, I don't know, it doesn't really say much because it's kind of a kid's Gundam. So it's like, maybe she did modify it, but still, yeah. And
Yeah,
speaking of
yeah,
the
yeah.
fight, the fight was interesting. What do you think of that? I like that. The space fight is really good.
Yeah, that was a good sort of opening battle for them with the space, and especially for seeing Sekai figure out how to control himself in space. And our buddy Onro retweeted something or posted a picture of like it's plastic particles. I gotta explain shit.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we've seen this like Seki's gonna fight, and we saw this like One Piece. Sanji can do this. He can wall run in the sky,
Yeah, Skywalk. Yeah.
and Sekai's doing the same thing in space. Just kind of like what the he actually pushes off the wall of the battle arena, and he's like stepping through space to attack this one
Mm-hmm.
person. And it was pretty over the top, but I mean, Build Fighters is always about that. They're not aiming to be realistic at all,
Mm-hmm.
and I think
Yeah,
that's why I like it.
and we see in this battle that they sort of figure out what their strengths are individually, as far as mid range and lightning with the long distance and Sekai up close.
Right, and Yuma kind of surprised it when he just jumped to the front line. So like
Mm-hmm.
that's Seiji usually he's the one to do that, but
Yeah.
Yuma's like, nah, I got this, transformed and all that. I was thinking about like both. You have two that transform. You have you know Fumiya's transforms and Yuma's. It's like
Mm-hmm.
kind of interesting, but I guess they are somewhat different. And they win the first round easily. I mean, I kind of expected as much, but I think with any show, we know the characters are gonna win, but I think it's like how they win is what we look forward to seeing.
Yeah, and pretty typical stuff for a first fight. Sort of not too much peril, but just kind of feeling each other out as team members and also feeling out the opponent.
Right, gotcha.
And
Yeah.
pretty listless opponents too.
Oh yeah, the generic side character. Oh hey, got beat, so now they're done. Then we're starting to see slowly the other teams start to come out. I mean, I think there's a team that's like a science team. We're seeing them next week, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
And then extra stuff in the episode, the tournament. For me, the tournament stuff's always been the highlights of season one. So when they get in these tournaments and they get these weird games they gotta play, like I mentioned the sports stuff last time. There's all
Hmm.
these like events they have to do later on, which it's really fun to see them mix it up.
Yeah, it's basically just like a bunch of episodes of Gundam with all the action in it.
Right? Yeah, we're going to definitely more action in these tournament episodes. And I have one question about the swim team. Like, they got lucky on their first round. They got to be in an underwater stage. I'm like, what happens when they get a stage where they're not underwater? Like, do they have a backup suit or something?
Yeah, it almost seems ridiculous to think like they'd get anything but water because they're gonna the whole I can imagine just the show doing like, oh man, we're right in our comfort zone. We got the swim team at totally random, which which by the way, the random thing I kind of like because people that play Super Smash Bros. Know that it's only Final Destination only, no items,
Mm-hmm.
Fox only.
Right.
But I kind of like that they do random in it. It's not some kind of elitist thing where they only have to have the one flat stage.
Right. Yeah, I like that. I was gonna say they did that in some episodes of season one. They do where all these kids get weapons, different weapons that rain from the sky. So a little bit
Hmm.
there's like a little bit of Smash Brothers element to some of the tournament things where it's like whatever weapon you pick up, that's the weapon you're stuck
Hmm.
with. I think they had someone with like a rubber hammer, like a little toy hammer. They had someone with
Oh
like
yeah.
a goofy looking like a bat and a baseball. So they had to figure out how to use those weapons creatively. Like you said, they do kind of spin that a lot. But yeah, I'm waiting to see the underwater team get. Oh, we're in space. Oh, that's not good. They get owned or whatever. But yeah, I think that's gonna be their downfall. That's why I feel
Hmm.
anyway. Yeah, this stuff you had Mirai in a swimsuit and looking pretty good, I would say.
And then Dynamito body,
Right.
definitely.
And then I was like disappointed no Fumio in a bathing suit. Not yet, anyway.
Hmm.
Later on, we'll get that maybe.
Yeah, for
And
now we just have her. I guess you'd call it her gunpla uniform for
yeah,
battle.
it's true. I mean, she just have that diver suit in the ending. It's like, kind of weird, but it works.
Hmm.
And I gotta say the OST when they're doing the battle stuff was really good. They played the
Yeah.
opening kind of like instrumental version. It was
Hmm.
really good. Nice, well played in that one.
Yeah, the opening came out, and I really liked that song.
Oh yeah, me too. And for Gundam references this week, we had 3 from Gundam Wing. But I think we had a Death Scythe, but he wasn't using a scythe. He was using like a sword. I was like, that's kind of
Mm.
weird, but it's fine. In the first tournament, they fought against the Gundam Double O's, kind of the throne units. They're fighting just different colors, and I guess the Yuma, we learned his machine is based off the REGZ from Char's Counterattack. So I'm
Hmm.
like, I don't know that one, but it's cool they pointed it out, and I looked it up, and like, yeah, it is the same.
Oh,
Just different colors and
cool.
shapes and everything. But yeah, what do you think of that episode?
Overall, I thought it was a pretty good battle episode. I like that little bit of animation and seeing Seikai adapt to space relatively quickly. Overall, the episode was entertaining. Just it's on the typical side, which isn't bad, but
Mhm.
for first battle stuff, it was fun.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to more tournaments as they get deeper into it. I mean, I know they're obviously going to go very far in the tournament, but I wouldn't mind seeing like a different change where they don't exactly qualify for the final round. Maybe see someone else fight and you have to go back at it and retrain and all that. And through a series of events, oh, you guys are back in because so and so dropped out or something like that. I could see them do. I think they did that almost in some shows I've seen before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, maybe not Gundam Build Fight, but other shows have done that.
Hmm.
Probably like Unleash Your Pedal shows like sports. I guess would do that more than anything. And after that, we get Gundam G Reconguista Episode 7, The Mask Corpse Fierce Attack Assault, which kind of tells you what the episode's really about.
Oh yeah. It's
and,
about the mask.
right. And this new attack squad is being formed by the Capital Army, comprised of Kuntala, led by Mask, which I guess is what race he is, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, they kind of made a thing at the beginning about like sort of like the pride of Kuntala and that they're kind of the lower level of the world as far as their race is concerned, and that if they were to do well in this battle that they would be regarded much better. And so that's what Mask was kind of using as his motivation for these other Kuntala guys in battle.
Right, I guess maybe they're like a nation that's been like kind of wrecked or destroyed, and like, there's not very many
Mm.
of us left, so we gotta represent our people. It's kind of interesting here.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess you have Belle's mom. She's kind of frustrated right now with the Capital Army kind of doing their militaristic behavior stuff. It's like, why aren't they, this all they're so gun ho about military lately? And she's confused, like, why are we so, you know, ready to fight? Like we guys are waiting for a war to break out.
Uh-huh.
So she just takes it upon herself and goes to Capitol Tower by herself and decides to use one of the small crafts to find her son, since the Capital Army is not doing enough good enough job for her, in her opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Which
but
was
the
funny, yeah.
guys knew that something was, they were sort of keeping their eye. They would kind of signal to each other. So it seems like they kind of trapped her in here as she doesn't really have exactly a, a destination for her flight.
Right, yeah, it's true.
It was kind of an odd sort of, we have like the A scene stuff with Bellry and all them, and then you have this B scene with Wilmot, and it was kind of weird, just kind of because I don't know, something just didn't seem right when we were cutting from those scenes to her scenes. Like she hadn't quite gotten it together. It wasn't meshing with the drama that was building up in the other scenes. I think in the overall, it didn't quite fit what was going on in the episodes, and at the times that they were cutting, it wasn't building on anything.
Yeah, I have to agree on that. It felt like it was kind of like tacked on at the last minute, like oh, we gotta have some other side story going on while Belle's doing his thing. It's like, well, why
Hmm.
not throw the mom in there, let her do something? And it does seem like Capital Army definitely is keeping her in the dark of everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Almost like they want to push her out of the way. And I almost felt like if there was a different, maybe a darker tone in the series, I could see this episode being the one where they killed his mom off.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
she's poking her nose in business she doesn't have anywhere to be in, and just like, oh, gotta get rid of her. She knows too much.
Yeah. We had talked about Bellry, the potential of like how he would react to the
Hmm.
death of Dellinson, and he seems to have bounced back. I guess, not even bounced back. He's kind of just the same as we remember him being. Although it kind of lingers in his head, the thought of, he knew who it was that died there. But, maybe if his mom were to die, that would be really traumatic.
Yeah, I was expecting that too, because she does escape that that little chip, and I'm like, I was talking to my brother at the same time I watched him like, are they gonna do something where she gets caught in the crossfire and he accidentally kills his mom by accident?
Mm.
And not knowing that he actually killed his mom till later on they reveal it. I mean, Gundam has they love doing that, putting characters that used to know each other against each other. Like Mask is obviously Belle's friend,
Yeah.
The other guy, Dellinson, died last week, was like his mentor. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
this series is definitely doing that a lot, putting people that like each other, or care about each other in harm's way,
Yeah.
just for
While
drama, I think.
uniquely kind of making Ameria like the guys that we root for.
Right? Yeah, true. And then while that's going on, so for some reason, Raya Monday is pushed into G Self the pilot because Nick wants to see what she can do because
Mm-hmm.
she was the one that was in the Gundam originally. So he's automatically thinking maybe she's put in a situation where she has to fight back. Maybe something will click and she remembers something. I mean, I think he's doing it out of good intentions, but also bad intentions. He wants to see what the machine's capable of. So it's like, well, I'm gonna just force it to happen, which was almost got her killed, I would say.
Yeah, she was just kind of drowning over there.
Yeah, it's like I
Uh,
can't swim. The Gundam's like drowning. I'm like, oh my god, this girl.
yeah, but Bellry and pretty nifty to get the G self out.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, kind of funny to see all this like random animation of like the movement of grabbing someone out of the water. It's like almost like I would think of rotoscope. Maybe they probably definitely have seen footage of people pulling people out of water, and it's kind of interesting to seeing
Mm-hmm.
that. And like I said, Bell does get in the G self and has to fight back. He fights back for a little bit against Mask and his troops, and before they get to any real fighting, it's like a mobile armor suddenly appears out of this on an island somewhere and starts shooting at the Mask forces, and they have to leave because they can't fight someone that a big armor by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of funny to see that random armor pop up, and everyone is kind of like, "Oh, it's so and so." I'm like, "Okay, so we
Yeah.
got more forces, I guess."
And even Ida was surprised that her dad was billing stuff like that.
Right, yeah. So I guess next week would meeting her dad and see what he thinks of Belle. I don't think there's anything bad with those two in the preview, but I don't think they
Mm-hmm.
might. You never know; they may not get along too well. But yeah, the episode. I mean, for me overall was like kind of like you said. The stuff with the mom was okay, but it just felt out of place. Stuff with Belle and all that. I was expecting him to be a little bit more traumatized after killing his mentor, but maybe he's still thinking that maybe it wasn't him. And he's still toying around with the idea that maybe it wasn't really him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it's just an okay episode.
Right. And extra stuff for this, Belle's mom also gonna say winning for best acting award because she's like pretending like she's freaking out and scared and paranoid, and when she gets out, she's
Mm-hmm.
like, "Ooh, that was easy." I was like, "Wow,
Yeah.
that was awesome." Even though I kind of knew she was trolling all along. I mean, it's like she's not that dumb to get in a suit or a ship by herself and just hit the
Yeah.
ignition. I'm like, nah, she's playing. And Monday, she's still a little derpy. I mean, we've seen she's kind of getting a little bit better, but she's still the same one we've seen since the
Yeah.
first
It's
episode.
almost like she has like a sentence where she is actually making sense and putting more than just two words together or something or choo me. So I mean, yeah, I'm at this point kind of expecting this just to be the norm for her all the way through.
Yeah, she has these like tiny moments of clarity where it's like she says something like, "Oh wow, he's like something important." It's like then 2 minutes later, back to being derpy again. It's pretty
Hmm.
funny. And the last thing I mentioned, Mask, like why so intense? I think he was screaming the entire time.
Yeah, he
I'm
was.
like, damn.
He's a fiery dude.
I'm like, yeah, I think when he puts a mask on, he's like becomes this different persona where he's screaming and yelling a
Hmm.
lot. Because when he's not wearing a mask, he's quiet and you don't really hear him. You can't really see him. He's
Yeah.
kind of in the background doing his own thing. But yeah, for now he's just screaming. So I'm like, his actor must have been screaming the entire time. It's gotta suck.
More water.
Yeah, pretty much. In the round of the talk, Cross Range episode 6, Momoko's here. Basically, it follows the rundown. Is basically Momoko was Ange's maid from the castle or kingdom which she was in, and for some reason she found a way to find Ange. I guess she was tracking her for a long, long time. Stowed away on the ship, and Ange just kind of stuck with Momoko, who doesn't really fit in because she's obviously a mana user and the other girls are not. So no one really knows how to treat her because she's kind of like all over Ange, just kind of hanging on her. And Ange obviously doesn't like that because she's changed. She's not the same person she used to be. So Momoko's kind of like always. She was pretty clingy in the episode for me. And as far as that goes, I mean, in the end, they were gonna kill Momoko off because she's obviously a mana user and she can't be with Norma. So they
Mm.
were gonna they had a plot to kill her off, but before they could do it, Ange, I guess, dropped a bunch of money on the ground and says, I'm buying Momika, she's gonna be my servant. So I'm guessing you can buy people now in this series. If you have the money, you can buy whatever you want, I guess.
There's certainly not this series can't go too low for itself.
Right, yeah. I mean, when originally I thought that they would give her a job at the mall because what else could she do? She's a maid, she's a servant type character. So I was like, what else could she do? She could probably cook, maybe clean, but that's it. But the whole time, Mocha just kind of clings to Angie the entire time. That's
Let me rephrase that. There's no low that this series can't go to.
right. I mean, buying people. I mean, it's like I
Yeah.
wouldn't put it past this series to do something like that.
But anyway.
But yeah, anyway, the end up, Ange kind of finally gives in and lets Mocha kind of serve her because Ange right now doesn't want that. She just wants to live her day-to-day life, kill dragons, and move on. And I mean, I didn't feel much from the episode overall. Like for me, I felt Momoka's kind of annoying. She was kind of. I thought she was gonna die in the episode, but she never did. I assumed she might die later, but we'll have to see how that plays out.
Momoko was the maid.
Right? Yep. She was the maid,
Okay.
and I guess Ange was kind of mad at her because she assumed that the maid was lying to her the entire time. Like she asked her like point blank, "How long did you know it was a Norma?" before I got in this situation, and Momoka didn't really answer. So there's something she's not either she wasn't told or maybe Momoka's keeping a secret about her origins or stuff like that. I wouldn't be surprised if Ange is like from the other world where the dragons are from. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the whole why it normally exists. Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
And as far as that goes, nothing really touched on upon the story. Ange is still gonna do her dragon fighting, and that's pretty much it. Momoka's just the only new addition to the series.
Mm. All right.
In extra, there was not much. I mean, like I said before, the maid was kind of annoying to me. Kind of was wondering when she was gonna die because I thought that's why they introduced her. Like, oh, she's gonna be here to push Ange to develop more. And I would think that the other girls at the prison would kill her because they don't like her. She's a mana user, but they never even touched her. I was kind of surprised on that.
Hmm.
And like I said, they bought in the end. Ange did buy Momoko with money. It's pretty funny. Like 4 bags of that cash. Like she's mine. I'm buying her. That was pretty funny. And as far as Momoko's rest of existence in the series, I don't think she's gonna do much. I wouldn't mind if she got into one of the mechs and fought, but since she's a mana user, I doubt she's gonna do that. So, but yeah,
Wouldn't there just be an issue of compatibility?
yeah, it would be. I think so. I mean, since all the other
Yeah.
girls are Norma, it's like put a mana user in one of those machines. I don't think it's gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
And Momoka really hasn't seen the dragons yet either, so she really has no idea what's going on in this place. She just assumes
Oh
Ange is
yeah.
being held there by her own. This one's just holding her there, not letting her go. But
Yeah.
originally, that's why they're gonna kill her because they're like, if she finds out about the dragons, goes back and tells everyone about it, that's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
government secrets they don't want.
See, we know what Ange has gone through
Uh-huh.
from being a princess to, this downfall that she's been through to the point where she's a Norma and she's in a ship.
Mhm.
It would be kind of interesting if the show kind of, and they wouldn't do this, but they would sort of show it a little bit more through Momika's eyes as a girl who lived this life as a maid, and she was the maid to Ange, and then she's really seeing the world, as she's never seen it before, and it can be very eye-opening for her.
Yeah, they might do that later on when they introduce the dragons for her, because Momoko's never seen one yet, so she really doesn't know what is going. She hasn't seen the robots yet either, so she really has no idea what Ange has been going through since she's been taken away. So it's like, so Momoka for her, might see it next week and realize, oh, Ange is doing this to save people. She's not doing it for her own self anymore. And with Momoka, she really has no place to go. That's why she went to Ange, or to find her, because their kingdom is gone, I guess, for her. And so she's like, she has nowhere else to go. So it's like she kind of has to stick with Ange for now.
Mm-hmm.
Which I did feel a little sorry for her because that's all she knows, being a maid. So it's like,
Yeah.
but at the same time, Ange kind of had the same thing. All she knew was being a princess, but now she has to be a fighter. So I mean, she's changed a little bit compared to her old self.
Yeah.
But overall, it's kind of a episode like usual. But yeah. So, anything else you want to say?
Um, I'm looking forward to next week when we can talk about episode 6 of Build Fighters because I have seen that one and that was really good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that. And more Recon, I mean, it's getting somewhere. I think once you may introduce the other Ada's dad, maybe we might see something different. Maybe the dad can win Bell over to their side for now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they haven't tried to escape yet, so I'm waiting for that still. Attempt number 5. But
Good luck.
yeah, right. See you guys next time for more MechaNORN.
All right, thanks for listening.